All right, guys, let's get right to it. Today we're going to be looking at a lighting diagram setup for some print photography I did a couple of years ago. And one of the things that you want to keep in mind is that when setting up this type of lighting, it is crucially important that you are able to set up a style of lighting that a model can walk in and out of after changing outfits and still the lighting be consistent. Let's get to it. All right, so what we're looking at here, guys, is a campaign for a local fashion designer, and she was putting together some images for her website. So let me give you an idea really quick here what we're looking at. So this is going to be our, let's just say, more portrait style shot here. And this would be a rear shot of the entire outfit. This is a little bit more stylish, and that's going to be somewhat of a side profile of the outfit. So the outfit itself consisted of the top and the leggings. So the key here was being able to light them both evenly and at the same time not overexpose or underexpose either of the two. So calculating your lighting is going to be crucial when it comes to doing something like this. Also, you have to take into consideration the skin tone of the individual, hair, if there's any jewelry that's going to be displayed during the shot, the layout, the design, whatever the fashion designer has in mind. Those are things you're going to have to definitely take into consideration, because many times the jewelry can reflect light and you'll wind up with light patterns all over the face, everywhere, just depending on how shiny the piece might be. So let's take a look at exactly how I set this lighting up in the studio. Let's jump over to, all right. So here we are, guys, in Satellite, and we're going to take a look at this diagram really quick. So we had a total of 5 lights. So we had 2 lights on the background, 1 hair light, a main light, and a key light. Okay? And my settings for this specific shoot was, I was using a 24-70. I was at 1/25th of a second, f5, at an ISO of 200. Now, of course, every time you set up something like this, these things will change. It just depends on, what it is you're trying to capture. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to, as you see here in the viewfinder, it is completely black. So the reason why I'm showing you this version of it is because you want to eliminate any other lighting that may be in the scene. So even if we raise the studio light, you see it doesn't affect the image. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn on each individual light one at a time. So we're going to go to the background light. We're going to turn that one on. We're going to go to this light. We're going to turn it on. We're going to go to our fill light here. Let's get that one. Let's turn the other background light on. And here is our main light and our hair light. So let's see what we're getting here. We look a little bit overexposed when you see it from here, but we're going to bring the power down on this light just a touch, as well as this one. And you kind of get the idea. So once you start setting your lighting up, you want to make sure, I'm going to move the model forward just a touch so she's not quite, there we go. And let's focus on her face. All right. So you have a number of options here. Let's say you could go in and you could say, well, maybe to start, I want to be at my camera sync speed. So that could be, in this situation with the cameras that I was using, 2/50 of a second. And your ISO, you could have set that at, let's say, 100, for the highest quality image you can possibly get out of your camera, depending on which model of camera you're using. Then another thing we want to do is we want to take a look here at these background lights. I think we need to bring those down just a bit. And let's jump over to this one. 5.5. And let's get this one down to 5.5 or somewhere in that range. Okay, so you kind of get the idea of how this was set up. And the other thing we want to look at is this light, its power settings. All right, so we're good. So now if you zoom in here on your model, let's move our camera over just a bit. All right, you start to get the idea of where I was going with lighting setup and everything like that, right? So the key to so much of this is ensuring that you have an environment where that model can step out of this scene and change wardrobe and go right back to her marker, and you can get the exact same shots again. So in a shoot like this, repetition is going to be your friend. And having something set up where you can move a model in and out, they're only going to be doing maybe 3 to 4 different poses. So when they come in, you're going to get them in there and you say, okay, I want her to do this pose, that pose. So let's just pose our model a little bit. Let's go over to our model. Choose our model. We're going to go over to posing. We're going to give her a couple of different poses. So as you see, you can change all the different poses for your model. And that's what's really cool about this app, is that you can go in and make all of these modifications, and it'll give you a strong indication of what your image is going to look like when it's all said and done. So if you already know and you've worked with your fashion designer or store owner, it could be, it could be a web designer, whatever it may be, and they already have in mind what it is they want, done for their images. If it's going to be something they're going to be using in a print catalog, or Amazon, is another really big target for a lot of these designers, because they want their pieces to be displayed on Amazon. And to get really good images, the key is making sure that background is completely white. So then when you bring it into Photoshop, or whoever brings it into Photoshop to start doing the post editing, they're going to have a much successful result, because the outfit's not blown out and you're not losing detail in the hair or anything like that due to too much lighting. So one of the most important tools in your toolbox is going to be your light meter, is to be able to get in there and actually meter that light and make sure, what you see is what you're actually capturing. And that's, again, why I emphasize, if you have the ability to shoot tethered, do always shoot tethered. I use Capture One, but some guys using Nikon and Canon. If you're already using Photoshop and you have Lightroom, you can capture tethered directly into Lightroom, and you can get the job done. And what's cool about that is you can give another monitor, or you can connect to, say, an iPad or something and give that to the director, and then they can see the images live as they're coming in. And that also helps your makeup artists out, because then they're at a position where they can see if anything is wrong, or if there's too much reflection on the skin, they can go in and do quick touch-ups. So it's always, important to make sure that your team has the best tools to get the job done. All right, guys, so I wanted to do this video really quick so you guys can get an idea of what you may be looking at if you're going to be doing some type of fashion campaigns, and getting your lighting set up. The best result is going to be achieved from consistency. So once you have your lights placed and you're instructing your models, what I usually do is I just put a little piece of tape right here on the floor, and then I just tell them at that point, what I want you to do is to always come back to that one spot, and we'll start from there. And I'll do, another test shot, once they're in that spot, just to make sure, what I'm seeing in front of me is the same thing that I'm capturing on the camera. So that's about it, guys. So hopefully these videos have been very informative and you guys have learned something. Again, like before, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. Okay, guys, until next time, it's been your boy Rome. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. I'm out.